Asians. In this video, we will compare countries which are traveled by millions of tourists every year. Throughout the video, we will compare 6 countries by 19 indicators such as salary, corruption, democracy, and so on. For this, we chose one of the developed Asian countries such as the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, and Laos. Ratings will appear one after another. Here will be shown points that countries will get through each rating. And here are the places that countries occupy in the world. After each rating, a red table will appear, in which points are accumulated that countries will gain from each rating. The rules are simple. The more points, the worse standard of living in the country. The less, the better. Who will be the first and which country will win? You will find the answer to the question only by the end of this video. Let's vote which country will be in the first and which in the last. Write in the comments for which nation or country you are voting. And let's start the comparison. The first indicator is an index showing human development in the countries. The first 2 places are occupied by Malaysia and Thailand. Philippines, Indonesia, and Vietnam are in the middle, and Laos is last from the human development ranking. What places our countries occupy in terms of income per inhabitant? To do this, look at gross domestic product per capita. Not surprisingly, the highest place is occupied by Malaysia, which is massive exporter of high-quality electronics, and among them is the richest country in the world. Next, we have Thailand and Indonesia. The poorest among them is Vietnam. This is the Legatum Prosperity Index of countries. It considers several indicators such as management, health, social capital, educational level, and others. According to its results, Malaysia is the most prosperous country. Then is Indonesia and followed by Thailand. Places closer to the end are Philippines, Vietnam, and Laos. Further, the rating of countries by the quality of roads. According to the rating, the highest quality roads without traffic jams are in Malaysia, occupying 19th in the world. Behind them, Thailand and Indonesia. The last places are Philippines, Laos, and Vietnam. How safe these countries are and what places they occupy in the world. When the rating is compiled, analysts consider such indicators as war and peace in the country, the number of homicides in 1 year, and the risk of natural disasters. The safest country among them is Laos, ranking 60th in the world, and after it, Malaysia. Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, and Philippines are among the dangerous ones. The sixth and not least important indicator is the democracy index. The most democratic country is Malaysia, 43rd place in the world, and followed by Philippines, 54th in the world. In the middle positions we have Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam. The last place is occupied by Laos, 154th in the world. Let's look at the rating on the level of perception of corruption, how widespread corruption perception index is in the public sector, and whether citizens can solve their problems without a bribe. The first place is occupied by Malaysia, and the rest 5 are the most corrupted countries. The United Nations Development Programme published a ranking of countries by education index. It takes into account ranging from the quality and number of schools per inhabitant to the Nobel Prize laureates. The first country in our top is Malaysia, then in the middle, Philippines and Thailand. The least educated is among Laos. Now we compare effectiveness of the healthcare system. The rating takes into account life expectancy, government spending on healthcare, and the cost of medical services. The first three places are doing pretty good, occupying 30th to 40th in the world, but the rest are on a par with Libya, Syria, and Nepal. One of the main ratings is a monthly salary. This list shows the average monthly wage in US dollars. The highest salaries are received in our top by Thais and Malaysians, around $600. The least salaries are in Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, and Laos. Where does the happiest inhabitants of the planet live? According to a study conducted by World Happiness Report, the happiest citizens live in Philippines, 52nd in the world, and 2 points below it, Thailand. In the middle are Malaysia, Vietnam, and Indonesia. The last place goes to Laos. We looked at the salary, now let's look at the rating of countries by cost of living. This rating shows the cost of food, housing rental, and other expenses. The cheapest country is Laos. Prices are 4 times lower than in Switzerland or the Scandinavian countries. It is also cheap to live in Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, and Vietnam. Accommodation in Thailand is much more expensive than our 5. The 13th indicator is the rating of World Press Freedom Index. Studies shows how much the country's government does not interfere with the work of journalists and does not oppress the information rights of its citizens. The media in all 6 countries works very carefully. Even in some of them, one cannot say something bad about the government. Ease of doing business, quite a significant rating for those who want to increase their capital. The most favorable country for business is Malaysia, 12th place in the world. Opening a business in this country is much easier. In some areas you do not even have to pay taxes. Also, high place is occupied by Thailand. Most of the problems with starting a business will be in Laos. Where is the best life for children? Which countries more effectively protect the life and rights of children? The rating considers a number of indicators such as child mortality, percentage of undernourished children, child labor, and the like. Malaysia has the highest score and 71st place in the world. The last positions are held by Philippines, Indonesia, and Laos. This is the Passport Influence Index, which shows the numbers of open countries for citizens to visit a certain country. The most influential passport is Passport of Malaysia, 164 open countries to visit. The last positions are held by Vietnam and Laos. Next is Gender Equality Index of countries. It shows which country is most oppressed by female rights. Vietnam and Philippines got the highest score. Behind them are Thailand and Laos. The last places are occupied by Indonesia and Malaysia, because it is not a secret that women in these countries does not have the same rights on a par with men. This rating shows prices for 1 liter of gasoline. Global Petrol Prices Agency updates its data every week. The countries in our top does not have enough oil reserves. It has to be imported, which naturally influences the gasoline price. Therefore, they have the most expensive gasoline in the world. However, our number 1 goes to Malaysia and last place is Laos, $4 per liter of petrol. The last indicator is the speed and cost of the internet. In the ranking, we combined 2 indicators and gave the lowest score to those countries where the internet is fast and cheap. We gave 1 point to Malaysia, only because the country has very fast internet and at the same time it's very cheap. 1 gigabyte is just $1.18. And its neighbors Indonesia and Vietnam shouldn't remain unnoticed, as they have the same internet just few cents expensive than Malaysia. And last positions are held by Philippines and Laos. And that was our last indicator. Let's look at the overall results of our 6 best countries. The best country in our top with an honor goes to Malaysia, which took first place in the comparison. Further down the list are Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, and Vietnam. Last in our list is Laos. If you like this video, then rate my huge work of research and editing this video with comments and a subscription. If it gets more than 2000 likes, I will make a comparison of the countries of the European Union, Russia and USA to complete the picture. That is all for today. Do not forget to see other videos on our channel and stay tuned. Goodbye.